Hello and welcome. Today we have a lot of things that we're going to be looking at. So I have two of the new Byredo matte lipsticks. I have the shade Electric State on right now. And then I have the Dolly Parton lipsticks. I purchased all four of these. We also have the new Guerlain loose powder and the Makeup by Mario loose powder, and we're going to compare that with the original Givenchy. We also have some new items from SUQQU. These were gifted. This is the new SUQQU Primer. We also have some new brow products and this stunning highlighter. So very excited for these highlighters. There's this shade here, White Opal in 101, and then there's also a pink shade coming out soon. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start off with the primer, and we're going to jump straight to the clip here because I have an up-close swatch here so you can really see the texture. So according to SUQQU, this is the primer. It's a luxurious formula containing 4 types of pearls for a luminous finish combined with an exquisite oil that provide a visibly firmer look in an instant. What's more, the primer features nourishing ingredients to boost hydration for all-day radiance. In addition, it says the primer is carefully formulated with covering powders and 1 feather light powder to provide the perfect balance between coverage and translucency to enhance your skin by correcting the look of dullness, uneven skin tone, and redness without leaving behind a white cast in its path. What's more, the primer offers another layer of defense from UV rays, which can impact the skin's glow with the addition of SPF 15. The smooth texture feels like a luxurious cream, spreading with ease and absorbing quickly into the skin for instant radiance, resulting in an instantly more toned and firmer look. The soft, clear oil formulation creates a firming sensation to conceal signs of aging and provide a lit-from-within glow. And for reference, the primer has 30 grams of product and is made in Japan, as always. The primer should be available now at Selfridges, Harrods, Liberty, and Cult Beauty. I'll have any links down below in the description box. I have to say, I think this is a really beautiful formula. This is a first impression, so I will feature the primer again at a later date so we can really see an update, but the texture of this really is incredibly nice. So packaging, we do have plastic tube. The pump is actually really easy to dispense. You know, sometimes you get a new bottle and you're like pumping forever and ever. That does not happen here. But you can see the radiance here with this primer. You could even, you know, like I wouldn't put it past myself to use it as a highlighter occasionally. You do have a nice subtle radiance, and I think it does give a lift to the base makeup. Texturally, this feels like a lightweight lotion cream kind of hybrid. You do have a little bit of oil in there. You can feel that. And it really kind of helps keep hydration in your skin. It just makes your skin feel very nice and hydrated. This is a primer that you could totally use without any additional makeup on top if you just want to give your skin a little bit of glow and add a little boost to your hydration. Really does make your skin just look a little bit, you know, a little bit more well-rested and luminous. So let me know what you think, but I think it looks great. I think this is a really great primer so far. I really love the way it feels on my skin, and I would put this in the hydrating primer category. So this, you know, we're gonna have to talk more about primer soon because this is so great. It's definitely going up there with my favorites. And we just introduced the What's Up Beauty primer, which is also up there now, along with the Prada primer. And again, my favorite, the Surat Perfectioniste primer, is still up there as well. So those are kind of my favorite primers, but I think this is going to be going in that group. So let's go ahead and take a look at the brow products from SUQQU. So SUQQU has basically redone their entire brow line, and let's start off with the pencil. So it comes in 2 pieces. So we have the pencil holder. The pencil holder is just this half with the little, you know, the spoolie. And then we have this half, which has the pencil, and you can see you could even use this just on its own. So if you're somebody who travels a lot and you don't even want the full pencil, you're not going to use a spoolie, it's an option. But these just kind of screw on together to give you the full pencil. I have shade number 3, Sand. And let me go ahead and show you how this looks on my hand. You know, I find, you know, brow products are always difficult to swatch because you do want something to be a little bit stiff so it's not going to run off if you like sweat or anything like that. This is the shade Sand. And we'll do a couple of quick comparisons with some other shades real briefly. So let's take a look at the Byredo in Sand. And this is one of my go-tos. And I'm just gonna put this one right below it. You can see that the Byredo in Sand is gonna be a bit warmer. We have a bit more yellow in there. It's also just a little bit, perhaps a little bit deeper. And this is the Victoria Beckham Baby Blade in Taupe. And we're gonna put this right next to, put that right next to the Byredo. So here's Victoria Beckham in Taupe. It's a little bit deeper. This is going to have a creamier consistency. The SUQQU is going to be a little bit stiffer, a bit of a drier formula that really allows you to get that precision because it is going to be a little bit firmer of a texture. As you can see with the SUQQU, this is going to be a micro fine point. So this will really allow you to draw on any like small areas very precisely. And you can see in the demo that we are able to build the brows very quickly with this. Let's just swatch the other products and then we'll move straight on to the demos and talk about the products. We also have the SUQQU Coloring Eyebrow, and I have shade 02 in this, which I believe, yes, it's also Sand. And you can see this is going to be, again, a microfine spoolie here. So we're looking at precision. And in the demo, I'll show you this on one side of the brows and the pencil on the other. So you can see how the colors compare. This is going to be a little bit deeper. It's a little bit more mocha colored. So I feel like the pencil has perhaps a little bit more gray in it. And then the last product, this is the SUQQU Setting Eyebrow Gel in 01. And this 01 is your sheer brown. And this is going to be your gel that really keeps things in place. I have to say it's smooth to the touch. Like it doesn't really feel like I have product on my hair, on my eyebrow hair a little bit, you know, but it doesn't get stiff. It doesn't get waxy, no flaky. I think it's an awesome gel. Let me try and swatch that a little better. These are so hard to swatch, but again, it's a sheer brown, so you're not seeing a ton of color here. You can see where the product is, but this is just such a nice lightweight formula that actually does give hold and structure to the brows. So let's move on to the demos. Now, the eyebrow collection is going to be available from Thursday, September 12th at Selfridges, Harrods, Liberty, and then later on at Cult Beauty. So let's start off with the pencil, and you can see in the demo, I'm doing the pencil on the one side, and on the other side, we're gonna have the coloring eyebrow. And the pencil, according to SUQQU, this is carefully crafted for ultimate precision application. The eyebrow pencil is designed to draw and fill in brows. The 1.5 millimeter fine tip creates precise hair-like lines for seamless, refined brows. Formulated with a solid oil that has a melting point similar to skin temperature so that it warms on contact when applied, the eyebrow pencil glides on smoothly and is sweat and water resistant. The pencil is designed to be the slightest bit flexible, ensuring smooth application. So there are 5 shades in the pencil. I have to say, I think it's a really nice pencil. It does go on smoothly. You're able to be precise. It doesn't get so creamy that you end up with thicker lines where perhaps you might not want them. The pencil refill has 0.09 grams of product, and we have a 1-year shelf life, and it's made in Japan. Moving on to the coloring eyebrow. This is an easy to use brow tamer, ideal for brow beginners as well as brow connoisseurs. The coloring eyebrow helps achieve a fluffy and natural finish in just a stroke. The formula contains fine pearl pigments to brighten and add a natural dimension to the brow, while the ultra-fine brush ensures the right amount of product is dispersed whilst coating each individual hair with pigment for a dimensional finish without making brows feel stiff. The long handle of the brush is designed for ease of application, while the sweat and water resistant formula holds your look all day. We have 3 shades in this product. And I have to say, I think, again, this is really nice. You know, SUQQU, I love their color makeup products, but it's these base products, these everyday use products where they really shine. And this coloring eyebrow, we have a 1-year shelf life, 5.4 grams of product, and again, it's made in Japan. Moving on to the setting eyebrow gel. According to SUQQU, it says, brushed up brows are all about finding the balance between lifted and groomed. The setting gel helps keep the hairs in place in the perfect arch whilst providing volume and definition, and the vertical brush lifts brows up. Formulated with an oil gel for a quick dry finish that does not become white and flaky. The setting gel can be used on its own or layered on top of other SUQQU brow products and is sweat and water resistant for all day hold. So this only comes in one shade, the sheer brown here. And again, this is going to be made in Japan. We have a 1-year shelf life and 4.9 grams of product. I have to say, I think all 3 of these brow products are great. You don't need to use all 3. And with the coloring eyebrow gel, you definitely don't need to put the setting gel on top of that. It does add a little bit extra hold. And the formulas do actually work well together. So there's no issue doing that. It doesn't get like stiffer or crunchier. It doesn't feel like you have more product on. So I think there's something for everybody in this brow collection. And you know, SUQQU does brows really well. So I think these are definitely some great products. And these are products where an update to the formulas has actually been an enhancement. I think these are really well done. All right, so I picked up a couple new face powders. We have the new Makeup by Mario. This is the Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder, and I picked up the shade number 1, Fair Pink. I also purchased the new Guerlain powder. This is the Peru Gold Skin Diamond Micro Powder. You can see it is gigantic. So let's swatch these, and we're also going to take a look at the original Prism Libra powder from Givenchy, and this is in shade number 1, Mousseline Pastel. So I'm going to swatch the 3 of these. We're just going to do these on my hand here because honestly, it's really hard to see powder swatches, particularly I feel like on my arm where it's incredibly light and kind of blends in more easily. So let's take a look. That is the Givenchy there. And then for our Makeup by Mario, again, this is going to be the fair pink shade, but you can see it's not going to be a super cool pink. So it definitely is, it has a little bit of pink to it, but it's not going to be super pink. If you look at the actual powder here, let me put some in the lid. I hope you can see that. It's a really more of like a little bit of a soft peachy pink here. So you've got a little bit of that peachy beige vibe to the powder as well. So it keeps it just a little bit more natural looking on the skin. Now the Guerlain comes in colors, and I picked up shade number 01, which is the transparent. So this one is going to be, yeah, it's more of a white powder, but we do have a touch of pink in this powder as well. It's not going to be a straight white. So these are the 3 powders, Givenchy in Mousseline Pastel, the Makeup by Mario in 1, and the Guerlain in 1. Let's go ahead and take a look at these demos. Now the Makeup by Mario powder retails for $38 US. We have an 18-month shelf life. It's made in the US, and we have 15 grams of product. So again, we do have several shades that this comes in. I picked up the lightest, number 1, Fair Pink. And according to Makeup by Mario, this is a talc-free pro performance loose powder that sets makeup up to 12 hours, blurs and smooths the complexion with a natural finish and all-day shine control. We have light coverage with a natural finish. And like many powders, we have light diffusing spherical powders and smoothing amino acids, along with some other highlighted ingredients. There are some ingredient call outs from Makeup by Mario. It's free of parabens, formaldehydes, formaldehyde releasing agents, retinol palmitate, mineral oil, so forth. And it's also going to be vegan, gluten-free, and cruelty-free. We also have less than 1% synthetic fragrance in this powder. I have to say, it doesn't really have a scent that is noticeable. Other highlights, it says Mario curated this weightless powder with enhancing and brightening tones to build in soft layers for his signature soft set look. The powder controls shine without making skin look or feel dry for a blurred, natural finish. It's non-comedogenic and non-cakey without photo flashback. And I have to say, I think it's a beautiful powder on the skin. So in the demos here, I'm using the Chikuhodo Ren 1 brush for powder application, cleaning it between each use, and then going in with an exclusive puff for each. So you can see the Mario, you know, has a really beautiful finish either with the brush or with the puff. Personally, I always like to use a brush for my powders, but I think even with the puff, it really gives a really beautiful finish. Just going to be a little bit more matte. Moving on to the Guerlain powder, we have 35 grams of product. This is going to have a 1-year shelf life. It retails for $95 US and it's made in France. As I mentioned, this does come in a few different shades. Now, the Makeup by Mario powder does have a larger shade selection. According to Guerlain, as a finishing touch to the Peru Gold ritual, Guerlain has created Peru Gold Skin Diamond Micro Powder. With its soft, light texture infused with pure 24 karat gold and diamond powder, it sets makeup, blurs and brightens the complexion with an ultra sheer finish. Instantly smoothed and more even, the complexion appears rejuvenated. The cornerstone of the formula, the powders are coated in oil for a feeling of absolute comfort for 24 hours. There are 4 shades in this powder. The one that I purchased is the universal shade, so it's white with a hint of pink. And then there are 3 tone-on-tone shades, a light, medium, and dark beige to help with different skin tones. Now, one other little thing to note between these 2 powders, the Makeup by Mario does not come with a puff. You can purchase his puff for, I think it was $18 US. The Guerlain does come with a puff. So just something to note there. Now we're also taking a look at these powders compared with the original Givenchy. So as we know, the original Givenchy has been reformulated, is now a shinier powder with some shades actually being ultra shiny. And the one that I have isn't quite as shiny as some of the other shades. So, you know, they now have a different target audience, basically, in my opinion, for that powder. It's not necessarily a bad powder. It's just that the people who loved the previous version probably aren't the same people who will love this new version. However, I think there are definitely some people who will appreciate the newer version from Givenchy. If you're looking for something more similar to the older formula, I think the Guerlain and the Mario powders are definitely some to consider. None of these are going to be exactly the same, but these are definitely good alternatives, and perhaps you might even like one of them better. So please let me know down below in the comments which of these 3 powders you think looks best and whether you prefer the brush or puff application. So one more time, let's just take a look at the powders on my hand. We have the Givenchy in Mousseline Pastel, the original formula. This is the Makeup by Mario in number 1, Fair Pink. And this is the Guerlain in number 1, Transparent. So overall, I think these are all really nice powders. And let's go ahead and we're going to move on to some highlighters. All right, so let's take a look at some highlighters. So we're gonna start off with this one here from SUQQU. This is the 101. And let me go ahead and swatch this. And then we're also gonna take a look at the Gucci highlighters. Now, I did order 3 of them, but they did send me the wrong one. So I have 2 of the 3. So I'll definitely have another video with the Gucci highlighters later. Today is just gonna be a first impressions. So this is the SUQQU, and it's a very smooth, silky formula. Even though this is shimmery, it doesn't really feel, you know, it doesn't feel like gritty or anything. I don't actually feel the texture. I'm just gonna go over this one more time there so you can really see that. And look at that. It's very, very finely milled. And yeah, I think it's a really nice texture. So let's move to the demos for this. So I have this on my eyes right now, and then I just kind of smudged some of the Valentino blue eyeliner on there, and I just smudged it out kind of in a messy way just to get a little color. So this is the SUQQU Reflect Highlighter, and this is limited edition. There are 2 shades. I have shade 101 White Opal, but 102 Sakura Quartz is a really beautiful pink shade as well. These are available September 12th at Selfridges, Harrods, and Liberty. And it doesn't look like these will be available at Cult Beauty. So if you're interested in these, you definitely want to kind of shop one of those 3 retailers. According to SUQQU, it says, giving your complexion elegant shimmer, the Reflect Highlighter adds a touch of radiance to any look. The 2 shades are inspired by the reflective and brilliant qualities of natural gemstones, offering a pearlescent finish. Now, the White Opal shade is a translucent highlighter that blends silver and blue pearls to achieve an opalescent glow. A touch of red and gold pearls help ensure it blends into skin to elevate natural radiance. The 102 Sakura Quartz, which I don't have but would like to pick up, this is a pearly pink color using a blend of red and silver pearls with accents of blue and gold pearls for balance. This shade adds warm radiance to the skin with an elevated shimmery finish. I have to say, I think this is an absolutely beautiful formula. It feels a little, you know, it feels silky, almost more like a dry cream with a silky texture to it. So, you know, it doesn't feel powdery at all, yet it's also not moist enough to be like creamy per se. So I really love the texture on this. The radiance is, I think it's stunning. You can apply this, you know, in a more subtle fashion, or, you know, layer it on. I just think these are gorgeous, like actually holiday highlighters. This is not technically their holiday collection, but I think that these two shades in particular work really well with pretty much any of the holiday collections coming out from any brand. I really love this white opal. It does look white. We can see, you know, a little bit of some of those different color pearls when the light hits it. And from the pan, when I'm in certain lighting and I look at the pan, it almost looks like I have a little bit of a green or a greenish blue reflect to it. But on the skin, it's really just that beautiful silvery white shade. So I can't wait to try the pink one. I think this is stunning. So just some product details here. Again, it's made in Japan. We have a 1-year shelf life and we have 6 grams of product here. And I did just want to kind of compare this to the bottom shade. This is the Chanel Duo Lumiere. And I wanted to show you how different the sparkle is. You can see that the Chanel is going to be warmer. It's more like white gold. But look at the texture. You can see compared to the Chanel, the SUQQU is going to be more finely shimmered or finely milled. And so we have a more fine shimmer particle to it. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. This is one of my favorite highlighters from Chanel regardless. And the SUQQU I think is, I like it more. Now, this is Duo de Camellia from Chanel, which is, again, another favorite of mine, and it's slightly more metallic. You can see we have a finer shimmer. This is going to be, you know, perhaps still a little bit more metallic than the SUQQU. The SUQQU still has a bit more of a transparent base, but you can see this one is going to be incredibly finely milled, more similar to the SUQQU. Let's take a look also at the Gucci highlighters. So I ordered 3 of the highlighters, and so Sunrise Gold was the 3rd one that I ordered that they sent me warm gold by mistake. So I have to return that one, and they are shipping me the correct shade. But this one here is number 2, Frosted Lilac. And I actually have a mix of both of the Gucci highlighters on my cheeks right now. I didn't put any blush on today. This has a really nice, you know, more like a gel powder texture. This is the Frosted Lilac. You can see it goes on very smoothly. You can shear that out, and it's a really beautiful lilac with a touch of blue radiance to it. And then the other shade that I have right now is 4 Opal Pink. And I have to say, this is a bit more golden than I thought. I thought it was going to be more pink, but you can see it's almost more like a bronzed peach. This actually works for me as like a radiant blush if I want to pile that on more. I think it's a really pretty shade, but it is going to be a bit different than what I expected. Let's take a look at the demos. So we have 10 grams of product in each of these. They're made in Italy and we have a 1-year shelf life. I have to say, I think they are a really nice texture. They're smooth, easy to use, easy to build up if you want. Now, I applied it on one side with my finger just to show you how, you know, because it is still kind of like a gel powder, you could definitely apply this with a fingertip application. Works well with cream products and everything as well. But you can also go in with even like a light airy brush like the Refer 20 that I used on the other side. So you can see that it's a pretty versatile formula. You can definitely use a different highlighting brush to pick up for more product here. And this is not so creamy that you have to be careful with which brush you use. You could still use this with, you know, some of your more delicate hairs because it's not like a wet product at all. So for reference, these retail for $59 US and it comes in 5 shades. And according to Gucci, this is the house's first powder gel highlighter. It was created as the ultimate radiance enhancer to reveal your vibrant emotions. It's powered by glow light capturing technology. The formula is infused with a high concentration of thin pearls in a unique powder gel emollient texture for a light reflecting multi-dimensional glow finish. This illuminating powder melts onto the skin and enhances complexion radiance. I have to say, I think it's a great formula. I really like it. And, you know, you could definitely use these deeper shades to kind of build up and use them as like radiant blushes and everything. You can mix these with blushes easily. And I love this gel texture. It really feels like, you know, you're not going to get shimmer and sparkle in places you don't want. It really feels like it's going to stick to the gel medium to it. So, you know, you don't have to really worry about, you know, fallout or things shifting throughout the day. So I'm really happy with it. It is a first impression, but I will definitely have these highlighters in another video later. And let me know if you have any requests for comparisons for the later video. You can put those down below in the comment section. So one more time, let's just take a quick look at these shades here. This is going to be our SUQQU in 101. And then this one here is Duo Lumiere from Chanel, followed by Duo de Camellias from Chanel. Then this is going to be our Lilac highlighter from Gucci, and that is going to be number 2, Lilac, Frosted Lilac. And then the last one here is going to be number 4, Opal Pink from Gucci. And I mean, you can tell these new highlighters, they really have, I think they've really improved texturally over the years. So I'm really happy with both of these formulas here today. All right, so now we've got a couple lip products to take a look at. And this one here is from Dolly Beauty. So Dolly Parton has started her own beauty line. You know, she's had like fragrances out in the past, and this is her first lipstick. So you can see we've got rhinestones all over. Here it says Dolly with her little butterfly. And you can see that this top here, that is pushable, as well as the bottom. And I think this one might be a little faulty, because for this one, I have to push and then push that up to release it. But on my other ones, look, you just push the top and this will punch out. So these are lightweight. This is going to be plastic. So we have kind of a lightweight plastic here, which, you know, is nice if you're carrying it around. I actually like how you have to depress the button because it keeps it just a little bit more secure in the purse. Overall, I think the packaging is pretty nice. I mean, it is Dolly. This is quintessential Dolly Parton. You know, I love how she has always stayed true to herself and her own aesthetic, and I think this matches it perfectly. So let's go ahead and swatch these. I picked up all 4 shades. They retail for $20 each in the US, but I think, you know, they do have some different like set options with her fragrances and so forth. So these are called the Heaven's Kiss lipsticks. This first shade here is called Birthday Suit, and you can see that this is going to be a warm nude. So it's kind of like a tan shade. We definitely have a little bit of a yellow undertone in that, but surprisingly it works better on me than I expected it to. The next shade here is Rosebud, and this is my personal favorite. And this is going to be a nice soft pink. You can see this is neutral, leaning slightly warm. I think it's a really pretty pink shade. And the formula for these, they're really comfortable on the lips. So I'm happy with the formula here. Next we have Honey Plum. And this, I mean, look how dark it looks in the tube. But you can see this is going to be a sheer product here that you can build up. And you can see that this is going to be a bit more of, you know, it is like the inside of a plum is basically what this is, with a touch more brown to it. So it is kind of like a burnished plum in my opinion. And then our last shade here is Jolene Red. And this is going to be a nice statement red. It is neutral, leaning a little warm, but we still have a little bit of that like fuchsia pink in there as well. So these are going to be the Dolly lipsticks. Let's take a look at the lip swatches while we talk about the formula. So as I mentioned, these retail for $20 US. And according to the Dolly Beauty website, it says, as captivating as her music, Dolly's smile is always graced with an iconic, dazzling lip. This rich formula is as heavenly as the name says, with a smooth satin finish for the perfect pout from daytime to showtime. Heaven's Kiss lipstick is a one-of-a-kind gem like Dolly herself. To open the uniquely designed lipstick, click the top of the cap. The lipstick will pop out from the bottom. Each shade was selected by Dolly herself. This lipstick comes in a rhinestone studded case, capturing the boldness and beauty of the lady herself, with a formula containing fragrance notes of Lychee Blossom, Rose Petals, and Vanilla Orchid. You'll be sure to flaunt your beauty beyond compare. So we have 3.2 grams of product here. These are made in China and they have a 6-month shelf life. Now, as for the fragrance, it's not a strong fragrance. You do smell a little bit of that like perfumey scent to it, but it's definitely not overpowering. I would say it's not as strong as a lot of the brands like Guerlain or Givenchy. You know, those have stronger fragrance levels than the Dolly Beauty lipsticks. Now, as for the formula, this is going to be a thin, sheer formula. It feels very silky and smooth on the lips. You can build up the pigmentation level. You can feel a little bit of oil in this formula. So I do recommend using a lip pencil, especially if you have like oily skin and you have to worry about like feathering or bleeding. So that is something that is a possibility with these. I don't typically have any issue, but definitely with the deeper shades, I would recommend using a lip liner and perhaps even powdering around your lips just to prevent any, you know, migration. So I'm very happy to see Dolly Parton release a lipstick. You know, I do think of her makeup as being, you know, always memorable when you see her. And she's just such a larger than life person who has really done so much good for the world. So the Dolly Beauty lipsticks right now are only available on the Dolly Beauty website. However, these will be available in stores next year. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the new Byredo matte lipsticks. So we do have the same packaging as we are familiar with from Byredo. And, you know, Lucia Pica recently came out with the BYR line of satin lipsticks. Well, this is the complimentary matte lipsticks. So these are the BYR mattes. And our first shade that I picked up here is the shade Ombre. And I'm going to put these down right below the Dolly lipsticks. You can see how much pigmentation you have from one swipe. These are very silky smooth. It's a thin formula. It does not feel powdery at all on the lips. I'm wearing the shade Electric State right now, and I've had this on for probably about 5 hours now. And this is how it has worn throughout the day so far. And you can see, even though it is a matte, it doesn't have that matte finish. It's more of a luminous matte. So I think of it more as a satin matte lipstick. This is the shade Electric State that I have on now. And you can see it's a really beautiful, bright pink. It's like a fuchsia pink, but it's not too blue based. There is a blue base to it. However, it's a little bit more neutral for something in that category. The shade Ombre is more of a berry, and it's got a little bit more pink in there than some berries. Think of like red, maybe like a red wine almost. So, you know, if you've got the sunlight shining through it, it's kind of like that kind of color. I think it's a really pretty shade. Not quite as deep as a boysenberry, but, you know, kind of along those same lines. So Ombre and then Electric State. Let's take a look at the lip swatches. So the Byredo lipsticks have 2.2 grams of product. They are made in Italy with an 18-month shelf life. And I think they're really beautiful, high pigment lipsticks. So if you like something with, you know, high pigmentation with one swipe that really kind of lasts throughout the day, I have to tell you that this is definitely one that you should consider. It's very smooth and silky on the lips. It will leave a stain on your lips, but I have to say this is not one that truly like sets all the way. If you want to put this on and have it set to reduce transfer, I would definitely recommend blotting it, because there is still kind of a little bit of a creamy layer on top that even now after 5 hours, it's still there. Like I still have some movement from that lipstick. And I personally find that that makes it really comfortable to wear. And I want to say though, that when I say that these leave a stain, like I wore Ombre for a day and then I took it off with an oil-based makeup remover. I still had stained lips even after showering and everything the next day. So they're definitely very intensely pigmented. All of the shades in this line are going to be on the deeper side. You know, they're all high pigmented shades. So I think this is a really nice matte lipstick. So according to Byredo, it says, lose yourself to the voluptuous sensation of the matte lipstick by Lucia Pica, where a radical new formula creates a velvety soft texture that melts into the lips. Experience an application of exceptional sensuality as color becomes the touch of desire, leaving behind an intimate imprint. A modern matte texture sees waxes and luminous pigments fuse into a creamy yet weightless finish that gives even color payoff and long-lasting wear. Powered by a vegan formula enriched with rose flower extract, the matte lipstick provides optimal lip care through a feeling of hydration and a sensation of comfort. There are 10 shades, and we do have a new teardrop-shaped bullet to provide increased ease and precision of application. And these are refillable lipsticks, so you can purchase refills for these. The full lipstick with case retails for $60 US, and the refills retail for $41 US. I have to say, I think this is a really nice new matte lipstick. I really love the texture, and when I'm looking for something strongly pigmented, this is definitely an easy go-to formula. I really find it to be comfortable and long wearing, definitely has even wear throughout the day, and overall I think it's a great formula. However, if you are looking for lighter, more sheer shades and so forth, you can definitely pat this on, blot it on, but you're still looking at a pretty highly pigmented lip because all of the colors themselves are pretty highly pigmented. So, you know, this will never be something like a sheer matte, even with just like soft blotting. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just something to note, depending on what characteristics you're looking for in a lipstick. I think this is a really great new formula though. I'm very happy with it. So I would love to know what your favorite products were from today. Let's just quickly review everything that we looked at. We started off with the SUQQU Primer, and I have to say, I think this is a really nice hydrating primer. I can't wait to use this more. This was first impression, so we'll see this again in a later video, but I think it's a really nice formula. And this is gonna be a luminous hydrating primer. Then we moved on and we took a look at some SUQQU brow products, and they came out with a new brow gel, which, you know, I think is really, really nice. Honestly, if you had to pick one item from these brow products, my favorite would be the new brow gel. So this is the SUQQU Setting Eyebrow Gel, and it only comes in the one shade, 01, Sheer Brown. I just think this is a really nice brow gel because it provides the hold in the movement, but it still feels really natural on your hair. Yes, you can feel that there's something there, but it's soft and movable if you want, but otherwise it keeps everything right in place. And it does give a little lift. So this would be my number one from the brow products. I don't know, between the other two, I think they're tied. It really depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for something similar to the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel, this is similar to that, although I don't believe that it deposits any fibers like the Tom Ford, but it definitely, you know, it's impactful when you use it, and you could see that during the demos. And the pencil, I think, is a really nice technology that really kind of melts into your skin as you're using it, but it stays stiff enough that you can really be precise. Plus, we have that micro pencil, and I love how it is refillable. Then we took a look at a couple new powders. We had the new Guerlain Pure Gold Skin Diamond Micro Powder, long name, and then the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. And I think these are both really nice options. I'd love to know which one you think looks better. Now, although the Guerlain is incredibly expensive, you are getting a larger size. The Mario is a smaller size. So again, the Guerlain has 35 grams of product, but it does come with a big puff, and the Mario does not come with a puff. We have 15 grams of product. So although, yes, the Mario is less expensive for the amount you're getting, and it lasts longer, if you use a lot of powder, this actually comes down to a little bit of a lower price point per gram. So just something to note, you know, don't let the prices deceive you. This is actually going to be more expensive per gram if you include the cost of a puff. If you don't include the cost of a puff to kind of make these even, this is slightly cheaper. So it was something about $2.50 per gram versus this one at 2.7, so $2.70 per gram, so approximately. So just something to note there. Then we moved on to some highlighters, and we took a look at the SUQQU highlighter that is coming out soon. It does, by the way, come with a little blush brush here that I've already set aside somewhere. And then I have to say, I really like this highlighter. I think this is a great formula. It feels like a gel powder formula as well, like the Gucci, but the Gucci feels a little bit smoother. Like you don't actually feel any texture to it really at all. It's very, very smooth. So I would say that this has a little bit more powder to it compared to the Gucci, which feels a little bit more gel-like, yet dry. So I hope that makes sense. But I have to say I really love both formulas, and both of them definitely feel like, you know, they're containing the sparkle. However, I would have to say that because the Gucci do feel like they have a little bit more gel in the texture, I do feel like the shimmery particles are a little bit more tightly suspended in the gel medium compared to the SUQQU. You could get a little bit of fallout from the SUQQU depending on how you use it, but it really stays put pretty well. I have to say I really love the translucent base to that and how easily it layers. And I have to say, I just think they are all three of these are great highlighters. Then we moved on to the Dolly Beauty lipsticks, and these are quintessential Dolly Parton in my opinion. So these are going to be a sheer satin lipstick. You can definitely build them up to a higher pigmentation level, and you know, I think they're really comfortable. Think of texturally a very thin lipstick, lip balm hybrid with a little bit of oil in there. So you've got kind of that emollient layer of oil in there that you would get with certain lip products, and I find it to be really comfortable. And I think she started off with some really nice shades. So these four here are Dolly Beauty, and again, just one more time here, this is Birthday Suit, Rosebud, Honey Plum, and Jolene Red. And then we moved on to the new Byredo BYR mattes, and I have the shade Ombre and Electric State. These are a great high pigmentation level matte, and they are going to be very smooth and silky to go on. They never like truly dry down or totally sink into your lips unless you blot them. You are left with a little bit of a comfortable like emollient layer to your lips, which I think increases the comfort level while you're wearing these, but these are incredibly highly pigmented. So just keep that in mind. I think it's a really nice formula, and I'm happy to see it as part of the Byredo line. So please share your thoughts down below in the comments. And again, I'll be revisiting some of these items again later, like the Gucci highlighter. So if you have any color comparison requests for these highlighters, please let me know. And when my third one arrives, I will definitely be sure to include those. So the third shade I'm getting is Sunrise Gold. Feel free to include comparison requests for that one as well. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you all very soon. Have a great day.